My first introduction to kombucha was back in October of 2021 when I had COVID. Someone I knew sent me a few bottles of different brands and different flavors. I didn't like any of them except for the Synergy brand and the pineapple flavor. I found it very refreshing to drink when I was sick.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
Now, because I'm not a tea or coffee drinker, I probably wouldn't have tried this drink on my own. Now, because they say it's so healthy for us, I decided to take a look into why it's healthy and how it's made. So first of all, what is kombucha? Kombucha is a fermented tea drink that has been consumed for centuries. It is made by adding a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, a SCOBY, to sweeten tea, where it ferments for several days or weeks. Now, how is it made? You have to start by brewing some black tea, adding the sugar to it with the pellicle, and then you set it to ferment the first time for like 8 to 10 days, and then you do a second ferment where you bottle it off with the fruit juices or fruit, and that goes for another 1 to 2 days. Now, you can also use green tea and this tea right here, hibiscus tea, but I'm probably not gonna ever do those because I have the science of black tea locked down, okay? Green tea is a whole different thing, operates at a different temperature. I don't know anything about that, all right? So first of all, one tip, you cannot use Earl Grey black tea because of some oils that has in it. You have to use straight up black tea. So I went with Lipton black tea. You can get a box of 100 tea bags for like $4.69 at the store. I also did the math, so stay to the end and I'm gonna tell you how much it's costing me to make 1 bottle of kombucha versus buying 1 bottle, all right? So now, let me tell you how I got started. I started last October 14, 2024 by making the SCOBY. Now, you don't have to make the SCOBY. You can buy it from Amazon. It's cheap enough. But because I have a cooking show where I teach people how to cook, I wanted to do the thing from scratch to show you how it's done from scratch. So I started off by bringing 4 cups of filtered water to a simmering boil, and then I added 4 of the Lipton tea bags to it. One next tip that I learned is to tie the tea bags up so that the tags won't fall into the pot while your thing is steeping. Just hang it on the edge, all right? Now I added 1/3 cup of organic cane sugar to this mix, and then I set it out to cool down entirely overnight, all right? So then the next day I added 1 bottle of pure unflavored kombucha, the Synergy brand. Yes, I know it takes kombucha to make kombucha, guys. So how would you start if you didn't have this bottle of kombucha here to do this 10 days? You would beg a neighbor for one if they had it, or you'd buy it from Amazon, like I said earlier. So I made mine from scratch, and when I was gonna do my first ferment, I didn't have a pellicle, like this beautiful disc thing right here. I didn't have any of this because in 10 days, all I had was goop. This mucousy goop right here. So I found a video, well, I found a channel on YouTube that's called You Brew Kombucha, and that's all the lady teaches on. And she said you don't really need the pellicle. The pellicle is the excrement of the SCOBY, and the SCOBY is actually the fermented tea or the starter tea. So I put my little goop and 1 cup of starter tea together in my mix and did my first ferment. So now to do your first ferment, you're gonna need a gallon of water. And at first, I was boiling the whole gallon of water, then putting the 8 tea bags and a cup of sugar, then set it out overnight to cool down, and then do the kombucha the next day till I learned this tip. Just boil half a gallon of the water, all right? And then pour another half a gallon of cold water. That's what you saw me do in the other video, in case you came from that other video, all right? So then it cools down pretty quickly. Now you're gonna really need to monitor your thermometer. I didn't do that at first because I live in Southern California and it was still warm when I made my first batch, and it came out perfect the first time. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm just gonna eyeball this stuff, right? No, read your thermostat, your thermometer. Read your thermometer that, oh, I didn't tell you guys. I bought a kombucha brewing kit from Amazon, all right? And it comes with 2 1-gallon jars. One is my SCOBY hotel where I store my starter tea and my pellicles, and I have a lot now. And the other one is where I do my first ferment of brewing. In the beginning, I didn't have any heater, and I didn't need it because it was October. I started to need a heater around Thanksgiving time of last year. So what I did was use my heating pad.
What happens if you brew it at the wrong temperature?
Okay, if you brew it too hot, you're gonna kill all the great bacteria that's in the SCOBY. And if you brew it too cold, you can grow mold, which is bad. At first, I thought I grew mold, but when I felt the pellicle, I realized it was smooth like leather, so there was no mold.
Okay.
So now, like I said, the first batch came out great. The second batch came out even greater. But let me tell you what happened. So I had my second ferment going on the dinner table, and I went for a walk with my husband. Right when I got almost home, I fell and I hurt my knee. So I came and sat down on the couch, was rolling up my pant leg to see if I was bleeding. And then I heard, my husband was outside feeding the dog. And when I heard that, I'm like, what is that? It sounded like something on the stove blew up or something. But then I saw shards going past me, shards of glass. Now, my daughter Jada had warned me not to do kombucha because she says it can break. And forgive me if I say kombucha versus kombucha because I'm Belizean, so I'm going fast, right? So the shards went down the hallway, so my son couldn't come and help till I got him a pair of shoes. Shards went to the microwave, and even yesterday I found shards on my husband's desk when I was helping him clean up. That happened on November 11th. I'm taping this on March 26, 2025. All right, so shards are everywhere. I feel like if I pull out the couches, I'm gonna find shards of glass. So that one broke. So we quickly put the rest in the fridge, because when you put it in the fridge, it doesn't stop fermenting, but it slows down the fermentation when you're doing the second ferment. Incidentally, a friend told me that they have store-bought kombucha that was in the fridge for too long and that exploded in her brand new fridge. So you have to be very careful with this, all right? Follow all the instructions that I'm telling you and notice all the tips and tricks that I'm telling you. So every time, I think what I'm doing now is called continuous brewing, which when I see people do continuous brewing, they get a big 2-gallon jug that sits on a pedestal, and all they do is make sweet tea every 10 days and pour it. Well, before they pour it in there, they pour out what's in there. That's the fermented tea. And then they put more sweet tea on top, and they just keep on, they do their second ferment and keep on moving. I don't want to do that because I know I'm going to want to take a break at some point from making kombucha. So I want to keep my SCOBY hotel separate and safe because I don't want to start this process all over again. So I'm good with doing the 2-gallon jars. All right. So 1-gallon jar is my SCOBY hotel. The next one is where I do my brewing. I make the gallon of tea. I just told you how I did that, right? Cool it down with the cold water, everything. And then I put it in there with 1 pellicle and 1 cup of starter tea. Covered up with my bonnet. Incidentally, I made these bonnets myself. I saw a video on YouTube. You cut out these round fabric like this, 2 pieces, and you kind of sew channels around the outside, and then you shove the elastic through. And I like these bonnets better because to put a cloth over it and to put a rubber band, that would get annoying. So at this point, you might be saying, Barbara, this is a lot of work. Why would I even want to make kombucha from scratch? What are the health benefits? So the health benefits are improved digestion due to probiotics, reduced inflammation, detoxification, and increased energy. I like to make it at home because it's cheap. Let me tell you really quickly the price. So with the box of tea, the sugar, and the water condensed down, divided by this carry the 1, it comes to 24 cents a bottle versus like $3 to $5 a bottle if you buy it at the store. Okay, so now as far as the bottles are concerned, I reuse bottles. I like these Boston round bottles here from Health Aid better, and I like the Synergy bottles. I don't so much like the Kirkland brand bottles because the caps don't feel so good. Be cautious when you're taking it from the ferment cabinet, which is my ice cooler, to the fridge. I wear this plastic mask here that my husband had, and I put it in the fridge and I let it ferment for 1 to 2 more days before we start drinking. So tell me down below, are you gonna make kombucha? Oh, by the way, because it's fermented, it has a trace of alcohol in it, so you're not supposed to give it to pregnant or lactating women or kids. All right, so make sure you give it to somebody above the age of 21. All right, so I drink 4 ounces a day, and I pour it out first and let it get a little bit flat, and then I drink it because sometimes the bubbles will get to my stomach and cause more problem than it benefits. So that's the main benefit of kombucha. If you have more information to share with me about making kombucha, please write it below too, okay? Let me know if you make it, guys. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you notice that it's in the profile orientation, and you know that I don't post videos like that for my uploaded videos, I just do the profile orientation for my live events, it's because I made this video for the TikTok platform originally, but I thought it was important to share it here also because the video is so long and it's a pretty good video. Now for shorts, they have to be less than 3 minutes long, so because this is longer than 3 minutes, YouTube is going to put it under the uploaded videos section, and you're going to see this in the profile orientation. So I hope you guys understand and appreciate what I'm trying to do, and also let me know if you've learned something from this video and if you are going to start making kombucha or not. Whether you're a chef or a kitchen novice, my collection of cookbooks cater to every skill level. From mouth-watering main dishes to decadent desserts, I've written and published a collection of cookbooks that celebrate the joy of home-cooked meals. Get Baked is the ultimate cake cookbook for anyone who wants foolproof recipes for the best moist and decadent cakes. Whether you're a cake boss or a newbie, this book makes baking a piece of cake. From classic pound cakes to Belizean black fruit cake, pineapple upside down cake, and wild and wacky creations like these beautiful gelatin cakes, you'll be proud to take any of these cakes to your next potluck or cookout. Pick up these 3 books from Amazon or all 6 books from barepantryshow.com. Bon appetit!